Hey guys, it's Jono here from the Football Nation podcast. I'm joined by Tommy today from Blue Focus. How are you, mate?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, nice to have you back on again. We did do a podcast with Tommy. Make sure you check it out. The link will be in the description. So welcome back on the channel. I hope you've been well.
I've been good. Yeah, I've been doing some pretty decent stuff recently. My vlog's been getting some good attention. The podcast is getting good now, so I'm enjoying it. It's really good at the moment.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about your beloved Birmingham today. A hard season. It's a hard season. It's been on and off the pitch.
hmm
Which we'll get into. But start off with how is your season going so far? Give us a couple of minutes to explain.
Well, particularly at the start of the season, I definitely thought we were going to go down. I thought this was going to be the season. Of course, we'd had, I think it was 6 seasons prior to that where we'd been in relegation scraps. And this season, obviously, with the manager leaving right before the season started and John Eustace come in, who had only managed a team before, I think that was Kidderminster Harriers. So I was a little bit concerned for it. I didn't know who we were going to get. I didn't know if the team were going to gel well. But we went to Portugal for the season friendlies, which were great. They were great fun. Obviously, I'd never done something like that before. It was something really different.
Did you actually go
Obviously,
to the?
yeah. It was
Oh,
something I'd never done before because obviously, the lockdown before had obviously stopped everybody from traveling.
yeah,
But to finally do that was fantastic. So that was really
yeah,
fun. The people we
nice,
went with were great laugh as well.
nice.
Um, but I feel like, yeah, when the season started going, I was quite surprised. We weren't bad as I thought we were going to be because I thought it was going to be one of those seasons where things would just fall apart bit by bit. But we've done well. I do think we have. And then we did extraordinarily well in towards the middle bit of the season where we went on like a 4-game winning streak, beating teams like Bristol City, Stoke, even getting points against some of the top teams like Sheffield United and Burnley and getting a point against Watford at home towards the start of the season as well.
Yeah,
So we were doing
Norwich as
really
well, didn't you? Yeah,
mm,
Norwich as well.
yeah, oh no, actually. Oh no, we lost to Norwich right in the last minute. We were drawing though for the majority of
Yeah,
the game. But yeah, I feel like yeah, it was really enjoyable earlier in the season, towards the end of the year of 2022. But the World Cup break has really done us dirty. Really, it just something about it. I don't know whether the flow was going well with the team at the
yeah,
time, whether we were getting into a good form. But after the World Cup, we've just been sloppy and slow, lethargic. We just can't seem to get going again, and that's really
yeah.
disappointing because the team that has been really good all season hasn't really changed that much.
Mm.
Players like Bielik and Longello and our American centre back Austin Trusty on loan from Arsenal's done really well as well. But I don't know, just that break for some reason it's done the opposite. Usually when you have a break, it's you can sort of
Mm.
recover and
Yeah,
resume what you were going to do before. But it's done the opposite. It's like anything that the
yeah.
Blues that seems to be doing like the normal things, it's always the opposite.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll go straight into your transfers.
Mhm.
So you made quite a few transfers in the summer. Some big names in there. Some I know quite well, actually, being a United fan in there as well.
Mm.
So did you want to go through your transfers? Who's been a success? Who's struggled? Who's gonna and give us a hit and a miss?
Well, the summer transfer window is obviously quite a strange one for Blues fans looking back because the potential owners that were going to take over the club, Maxi Lopez and Paul Richardson, have now gone under EFL breaches, and those signings technically were their signings, so they were all in all the pictures. So Taif Chung was one of the signings we made. We had him on loan last season. He did well for us, and now is a permanent player for us. It's his first permanent move to a different club. But obviously, with Lopez and Richardson stood in the photos, it's kind of a bit of a
Yeah.
moments taken before tragedy type of things, really. But I've been impressed with Chong. I do think his work effort is fantastic. I definitely say he's a hit. To say he's a miss, though, is because like he's been good, but he's not been like outstanding. Because if we
Mm,
were, we'd be higher up the table. But
yeah.
he's definitely not a miss as well. He's definitely a crucial player in the team. I just think with him, he's one of those players who could really benefit with a bit of a bulk up over summer because I'd seen it
Mm,
with players before like Che Adams, who the season before had gotten a fair amount of goals, did well in the season. He bulks up next season and he became a Premier League striker then. I feel like that could
yeah.
be with
We're
Chong.
we're we're really similar with Alanga.
Mm.
very similar situation to Lang. He needs to build up on. He's just not good enough at the moment.
Yeah,
He's
because you can see the potential in someone like
pu-
that.
he's just pushed us off. Just pushed off the ball so quickly.
Mm. And that is similar with Chong. He's got the skill, he's got the technique, and he's definitely got the passion and the drive for it. You know, you can see the effort he's putting in. Just feels like with that bit of strength to him, he could just fly past players then. Because I
Yeah,
thought this when I was watching the United game earlier. Obviously, the horrible 7-0 loss for you guys.
yeah,
Try not to bring you up too much about it. But I always think like someone like Salah is
yeah,
one of those players who over time has understood how to be an athlete. He's a
yeah.
good footballer. He always has been a good footballer. But to become
Mm.
like a top quality player, becoming that athlete is what we really
Yeah,
needed
it's
to do.
kind of what he
And
done when he went to Roma. He built
mm,
obviously he wasn't very good at Chelsea. They let him go, and then he bulked up at Roma, and then came back to the Premier League and killed it.
mm. Yeah, that's definitely what I feel like some of the players at ours really need to do. I feel like
Yeah,
because then we can sell Chong on for the amount of
yeah.
money I reckon for Che Adams as well because he's an exciting player.
Mm.
He really is. Um, we then made. Oh, I'm trying to go in sort of alphabetical, not alphabetical, sort of chronological order. I think we then made the signing of John Ruddy,
Very
who has
experienced signing that.
very experienced. I was really pleased with that actually. I
Yeah,
know there was a few people at the start of the season who weren't particularly happy with it. They thought it was a bit of an old signing and thinking,
yeah.
is it really the signing we should be making? And I think it was the third preseason game, his first game for us. There was a player on the edge of the box. I think we're playing Vallecano in a preseason friendly, and one of the players just took a shot from the edge of the box, and it just shot through his legs, and we were all like, "Oh no, what's happened here? This better not be what he's like." But he hasn't been. He's been absolutely
Yeah,
flawless for pretty much the whole
yeah.
season. He's been
I've
recently.
always followed
Like,
his career because my
mm,
second team's Norwich. My dad's a Norwich fan,
mm.
so obviously most of his career was at Norwich. Um, so I've always followed his career, and he's just experienced goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's a former England international, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Went to
So
the Euros with what Euros was it? I can't remember now.
I
I think it
can't
was
remember, but
2012. I
yeah,
think that's when he went with England, which I didn't know actually until we signed him. But he's been flawless. He's like Superman. He's like so big, so strong. He's got wingspan of a eagle or something like that. He's just like so big arms. He can just get to anything. Um, and I think we'd be in a right mess if he wasn't in goal. Um, because he's kept so many times. He's kept us in games so many times this season. I remember
Mm,
earlier in the season we were 2-0 up against QPR, who were top of the league at the time.
yeah.
Um, they got a penalty. I thought, if they score this, they're right back in it. Got down to
Mm.
his right hand side, saved it brilliantly. It was like those
I
are the
think
key
those
moments.
experienced players are really key, especially in the
Mm,
in the championship where it is a hard league. It's a lot of games, and players with like that. Troy Deeney's another one you've got
mhm.
who's got that experience from his career, and I think they're
I
having
think,
those.
yeah, I think for someone like Deeney, he's probably hit a bit of I don't know. I think he might have come at the wrong time though, because he's still got stuff in him.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's obviously it's different when you compare a goalkeeper to a striker as well, though. But I feel like Ruddy's still got more in the tank. Really, I feel like he's a more seasoned professional. I think with Troy
Mm,
Deeney, obviously he's getting nicks and knocks here and
mm,
there.
yeah.
But he has scored for us. He's still got us good goals this season and been an influence. Um, but he's not been quite the impact that John Ruddy has been.
Mm,
Obviously, because they're different positions and everything. But yeah, he's done well as well, though. That's one thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Who else did we get then? So I think sticking with another United player, actually, Hannibal. Very
What a player.
interesting. Yeah, we're very interested to see how he would be. He came a bit later towards the end of the transfer window, I think.
Mm,
Um, and his first game was against Preston away, and he
mm,
was amazing. I've never seen such
yeah.
intensity from a player before. He's an absolute madman, and I love it for him. It's like he never considers whether he should go for a challenge or not. It's always yes, and he's always immediately after them, and he just chases them down. And I love that
Yeah.
about him.
I've rated him for a few years and wanted him to get his chance. I'm not sure he's going to get it now.
Mm.
So maybe a move in the summer will happen if it's to you or to another club.
I
But
don't think that he'll join with us. I feel like another championship team might be interested in them. I think a lot of the loan players we've had this season are potentially interested by higher championship clubs, ones that probably might not make the Premier League this year, like West Brom or those teams sort of just that
yeah, yeah,
missed out on the Premier League. I think. Those would be
There's been a link
interesting.
there the last few years with United though as well, because obviously you got Alanga on loan, in and out Hannibal, and you also had our centre back on loan as well last season, didn't you?
Ted and Mengi, yes.
Mengi, yeah,
He was fantastic. He was. I'm
yeah,
very
he's a quality
disappointed the
player.
fact that he was so injury prone because I think he got injured at Bournemouth away and we never saw him again. But he
Yeah,
was quality. He was rapid as well. Every single time there was a counter attack, he was just immediately straight back after them.
yeah,
Yeah, I think the players that Man United make though are really interesting to see. Obviously, because you've got such a great youth academy that it's difficult to try and keep up with the players that are in and out of the team all the time.
yeah,
So I feel like players like Hannibal really do deserve another chance in the Premier League, even if it's just a couple of games, because those couple of games could be what makes them into
yeah,
that professional player. Then
yeah,
I've been impressed
definitely,
by him. Very
yeah,
impressed by him.
yeah,
Another thing actually on Hannibal is the fact that he can be very reckless, of course, by going into the many challenges. Still yet to get a red card this season, although he has
no.
been booked multiple times. Um, I'm just very fortunate about that. I feel like a red card is eventually coming, but happy with his performances. He scored a fantastic goal against West Brom on the telly on about a month ago. Just caught the goalkeeper
I
out
saw that. Yeah, I
brilliantly.
saw that one. Yeah,
It's just that bit of creativity, really. Sometimes I feel like that's what separates some great players in the Championship, really. And I feel like he is one of the best players in the Championship. In a better team,
Hmm.
he'd fly. I feel like that's a lot with those players. It just they don't quite gel together with us at the Blues. Obviously, it's a bit of a tough time at the moment.
yeah,
Oh, excuse me. Who else have we got? We've got Christian Bielik. He came at the same time as Hannibal. Very solid, very strong, proven Championship player. The only thing with Christian Bielik is the fact that he's just injury prone as usual.
yeah,
Um, it's such a shame. He's a quality player. I feel like he could be a potential Premier League player had he not getting injured so many times.
mm.
I feel like a Fulham could do with him. Proper hard central midfielder, pings passes off everywhere. Brilliant type of player to have in your team. Real quality professional. But like I say, he's just always injured for some reason. He's always getting nicks and knocks here. So I feel like he's one of those players that if he goes on a good run if he has a flawless season, he could be in the Premier League, I think. But he
Do you
just
think
has
you've got a chance of getting him in the summer? Because obviously he's from Derby, so
I just don't know anymore. I can't really predict the team and how they're going to or the club in that way because I just don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, because the club is such in turmoil, I don't know whether we're going to be able to sign players for the new season or whether we're just going to have to rely on loans again. I don't know
yeah,
if the club's even going to be here tomorrow. Like that's how
yeah.
unpredictable it is.
You've got to feel sorry for him a bit. He's come from Derby, which is like same
Yeah.
situation as
Well,
Birmingham.
from one crap team to another off the team. Oh
So,
man, yeah.
yeah.
Um, we've also recently signed Manny Longello, but he was a loan at the start of the season. Um, I'd literally never heard of him before, but he has been very good. We do a podcast, Blues Focus, and my two co-hosts, Jamie and Zach, are always constantly going at each other for talking about Manny Longello because Zach really likes Longello and Jamie we don't hate him, but he just doesn't really see the potential in him. So it's always just like Longello this, Longello that. Oh, come on, shut up. It just makes me laugh every time. But yeah, I like Longello. I think he's good. I think he's better going forward than he is going back, obviously, for a young I wouldn't say actually young defender because he's 23 now. But he's inexperienced in the professional game. So I feel like that would probably be why he's not as good as defending as he's going forward. Because I imagine with most young players, they are most probably just wanting to get forward and make a name for themselves. But he's been good. I've been impressed by him. He has been decent. His crossing is very good. He's got good footwork. He can maneuver in and out of the box. And to get him for 400,000 is a good price, really, especially for a Premier League player.
Yeah, really good.
To get anybody under $1 million nowadays is like a bargain, really.
Money's gone mental, innit?
I mean, there's just like that summer in 2017 just changed everything, didn't it? Neymar went for 200 million. Usman Dembele then went for 140, and then everybody's just been going for incredible amounts of money ever since.
You've just got Chelsea spending 600 million in a year.
Yeah, literally. And we're
And they're
spending
10th.
400 million pounds. We're spending 400,000 pounds on the left back.
And they're 10th.
Yeah. I was annoyed they won last night as well because I thought, you know what, this is definitely the game they're going to win, aren't they? Because like I'm supporting Dortmund because of Bellingham, and then what do they go and do? They go and win 2-0. I just knew it. I just absolutely knew they would win. They've been in shocking form, and then they go and beat Dortmund, the one team I want them to actually lose against. Oh man. Yeah, I've been very impressed with Longelo, as I've been impressed with Trusty as well, American centre back. Absolutely solid as well. Him and Trusty have, him and Ruddy have definitely been the best defenders in the league this season. I definitely do think Ruddy's been the best goalkeeper and Trusty's been the best defender. Stick them in any other team in the championship, they'll be far, far further up the league. I guarantee you that. I don't really know how we have done so badly after the World Cup. I don't really understand because the games that we were playing in before the World Cup fairly reflected where we were as a team, a
Yeah,
mid-table team pushing for a bottom playoff finish. Now, though, it just feels like the results we're getting doesn't reflect the way that the team should be playing. Because, like I said, Trusty and Ruddy are fantastic defenders. Obviously, I categorize Ruddy as a defender, of course, being a
yeah,
goalkeeper.
yeah,
But I do think that they would be higher up the table if they were in a different team. If they stick them in the West Brom's team, they'd be in the playoffs, I think, or stick them in Sheffield United's position. They'd still be in the top two of the championship. Their quality and they should be getting better for the positions they're in. Really,
just looking at your transfers though, interesting thing that obviously majority of them are free transfers or loans. Would you worry
mm.
about next season? Obviously, with most of these being loans, that they won't be in next season potentially.
Yeah, I'm worried about that a lot actually because I feel like we're at the very end of these good loan signings. We've gone through a couple of seasons now where we've made some good loan signings in terms of we got Riley McGree, who's now at Middlesbrough. I think they're third in the championship now, and he's been
Yeah,
a
yeah.
key part
Carrick's
in them.
been mental though. It's like
Mm.
they took him over in that relegation zone. He's like,
Yeah, I'd have loved him as the Blues manager. It would have been fantastic that. Um, and also with who else did we have? I literally had him on the. Oh, I can't remember. I've forgotten, and that's really annoyed me. But yeah, those type of loan signings, I don't think are going to be attracted to us anymore because they'll see the previous results in the seasons and think that this team
yeah,
can't go anywhere now. And also
yeah,
with all the off-field stuff as well going on with the owners and it's just not a very secure team to come to at the moment. It's worrying, and I feel like for players like Hannibal and Chong and those type of loan players that have come here, and Chong's obviously signed here now, you just wonder whether is this really the right team for me? I should be probably
yeah,
aiming a little bit higher.
yeah,
So I feel like I am worried, and permanent signings, I've literally gotten no idea who we're going for at the moment.
yeah,
Loan signings, we could make like a couple of
yeah,
young English players from the Premier League, maybe. But aside from making a proper sign, I've got no idea. I've literally got
yeah.
no idea.
Hey guys, thanks for watching part one of the halftime analysis with Blue Focus and Tommy. I hope you enjoyed part one. Part two will be out tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Make sure you check it out. Smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, turn the bell on so you never miss an upload. This has been Football Nation Podcast, your home for all things football. See you tomorrow.